Yo, what's up, fam? Big love to my global family out there. If it's your first time hanging with us, welcome. We'd be honored to have you join the crew, so don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. All right, let's dive in. So, check this out. The Red Sea, right? It's one of the most important sea routes on the planet, linking Europe and Asia through the Suez Canal. For years, it was pretty chill. But since late 2023, man, everything's changed. What used to be peaceful waters are now straight-up war zones, with attacks coming from Yemen, mostly from the Houthi rebels. At first, they were going after ships linked to Israel, but now they're hitting whatever they want. Commercial ships, Navy vessels, you name it. Even US Navy ships are in the line of fire. The wild part? These guys don't stick to just one weapon. Nah, they're mixing it up. Cheap drones that they can launch in swarms, low-flying cruise missiles that are hard to catch, and now even anti-ship ballistic missiles that pack a serious punch. And just when you think that's it, they bring out suicide boats unmanned and loaded with explosives, making close encounters super sketchy.
So what's the US doing about it?
They kicked off something called Operation Prosperity Guardian, basically ramping up naval presence and getting proactive with defense. Aegis destroyers, those high-tech bad boys, are out here scanning 24/7, locking onto threats and blasting them out of the sky. A bunch of attacks have already been stopped dead in their tracks. But here's the thing, it's not all sunshine and W's.
The situation remains tense, and the stakes are high. We're talking about a critical maritime route that the whole world depends on. The US Navy is doing everything it can, but this is a complex, evolving challenge.
There's a big problem that everyone's talking about: cost. You're firing off $1 million missiles just to take out $500 drones. That's not a vibe for a long-term fight. And the stress on the crews? Through the roof. They've got to be locked in all the time. Meanwhile, the Houthis ain't backing down. In fact, they're getting smarter, switching up tactics and maybe even using new weapons. So now the US and its allies have to stay ahead, not just with new moves, but with cutting-edge tech too. That brings us to the big question. Are America's super advanced defense systems really built to handle this kind of sneaky, low-budget enemy game?
Funny thing is, this whole situation, the US kind of saw it coming. For years, they've been low-key testing next-gen military tech in the Red Sea.
And guess what popped up recently? The X-47B drone. Not your average drone, this thing's a beast. Full stealth mode, no pilot, and it can take off and land on an aircraft carrier by itself. That's one of the hardest moves in naval aviation, and it does it solo with AI running the show. They've been flying it off carriers right here in the Red Sea. Why? Because the environment's tough. Tight space, tricky weather, unpredictable threats. Perfect for pushing this tech to the limit. And yeah, it crushed it. The X-47B showed it can fly missions without putting pilots in danger, sneak through enemy air defenses, and basically act like a ghost in the sky. But that's not all. The US also brought in a new and improved FA-18 Hornet, the classic Navy fighter jet. But this ain't your granddad's Hornet. It's loaded with a next-gen radar system, an AI-assisted targeting system, and way better sensors to track and take down threats. So check this out. When the US They decided to test the upgraded FA-18 Super Hornet in the Red Sea. It wasn't just a random pick. That spot's got high heat, strong winds, and some seriously tricky flying conditions, with land and sea blending in a way that pushes aircraft to the limit. Basically, it's like a real-world obstacle course for carrier-based jets. Why does that matter? Because in real combat, especially when you're dealing with low-flying drones or cruise missiles from the Houthis, you need jets that can move fast, think fast, and see everything coming. That's where AI, slick new radar systems, and beast-mode flight performance come in. The Super Hornets upgrade package is built to do just that. And here's the kicker. These tests weren't even in response to the current Houthi mess. They were part of a long-term game plan. The US saw the future of warfare changing and started putting money into tech that'd keep them ahead. We're talking faster decision-making, more autonomy, and systems that all talk to each other in real time. That vision's now being tested for real in the Red Sea. So how are those lessons from things like the X-47B drone and the upgraded Hornets playing out on the battlefield today? Let's break it down. The X-47B isn't just a fancy drone. It's a whole new class of unmanned aircraft. It hasn't been used in combat yet, but it showed us the potential of having stealthy AI-powered aircraft flying missions without needing constant human control. And that matters a lot right now. Why? Because Houthi fighters don't just sit around waiting to get bombed. They're mobile, they're hidden in rugged terrain, and they launch attacks from all kinds of random spots. To track them, you need constant eyes in the sky. Drones like the MQ-9 Reaper are doing that job right now and doing it well. But they've got a weakness. They're not invincible. The Houthis have shot down a few over the years, proving just how risky this mission is. That's where the X-47B's design comes in clutch. Stealthy, smart, and able to hang in the air longer with less help. Its tech is already being passed down to newer systems like the MQ-25 Stingray, which can refuel other jets in the air. That means longer missions, more reach, and fewer limits for US carrier-based air power. Meanwhile, the Super Hornets out there right now over the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden, they're not just flying, they're fighting. They're intercepting threats and going on strike missions. And the upgrades they got, like next-gen radar and electro-optical/infrared sensors, are making a big difference. These systems can spot tiny, fast, low-flying threats, think drones and cruise missiles, even when there's chaos all around. Sea clutter, civilian ships, or electronic jamming, and AI, that's the real MVP in the cockpit. It helps pilots lock on to the biggest threats, suggests smart ways to strike, and keeps the pilot from getting overwhelmed when there's 100 things going on at once. We've already seen Super Hornets take out multiple Houthi drones in one go, total success stories that prove the mix of pilot skill and AI-powered tech is working. But here's the deeper story. It's not just about each jet or missile or radar system. The real power move is connecting everything, ships, planes, drones, radar systems, into one giant multi-layered defense network. That's where AI and next-level networking come in.
Data from Aegis destroyers, E-2 Hawkeye, early warning planes, Super Hornets, drones, they all get processed, analyzed, and shared in real time. That creates one unified battlefield view. AI breaks down the info, spots coordinated attacks, like when the Houthis launch both ballistic missiles and drone swarms at the same time, and helps commanders figure out the smartest way to hit back.
Whether it's long-range missiles, short-range cannons, fighter jets, you name it, everything gets coordinated like a symphony of destruction. What's going down in the Red Sea right now? It's way bigger than just a regional fight. It's become a proving ground for the future of naval warfare. Every day the US is gathering data, testing gear, and learning what works and what doesn't under real pressure. Bottom line, all those past prep moves, X-47B trials, FA-18 upgrades, AI integration, they weren't just science projects. They're the frontline tech that's helping US forces deal with the chaos of today's battles. Autonomy, AI, advanced sensors, tight integration. This stuff's no longer theory, it's go time. So here's the deal. US military tech is getting thrown into the fire, going up against bold, asymmetric warfare tactics and cheap swarming weapons from an enemy that isn't playing by the old rules, the Houthis. And while the tech and gear are front and center, there's something even more important playing out here, the human factor. We're talking about American sailors, pilots, and tech crews pulling long shifts under insane pressure, making split-second decisions with lives on the line. It's not just machines keeping the Red Sea safe. It's the grit, training, and endurance of the people on board those ships and jets. But even with all this, new problems are bubbling up fast. Think about it. Multi-million-dollar missiles being used to take out drones that cost less than a used car. That's not sustainable. And when enemies start hitting with waves of cheap attacks all at once, that's a whole new level of threat. We're talking about saturation attacks that overwhelm even the best defense systems. Still, one thing's clear. The US can't afford to fall behind. Staying ahead in this game isn't optional. It's a must if America wants to protect shipping lanes, defend national interests, and keep the global economy from spiraling out. Because this isn't just a regional scrap. The Red Sea has become the battlefield for 21st century warfare, and it's about way more than oil tankers. We're talking about the heart of the global economy. 40% of the world's oil flows through these waters, billions in trade from Saudi Arabia, Qatar and the UAE. One wrong move here and the Strait of Hormuz, that tiny choke point, could blow the whole thing sky high. And now, that spark, it's lit. January 2025, the Houthis, desert fighters from Yemen, backed by Iran, crossed a major red line. They actually launched a direct attack on the USS Harry S. Truman, an absolute beast of a carrier, floating fortress, symbol of American might. On board, 5,000 crew, a full wing of fighter jets and billions in cutting-edge firepower, all sailing the Red Sea, guarding freedom of navigation. But the Houthis didn't blink. From the sands of Yemen, white smoke curled into the sky. Missiles and kamikaze drones launched in waves, screaming toward the Truman like steel fangs. They weren't shy either, bragged online about shooting down a US MQ-9 Reaper drone with homemade missiles in Marib. Another line crossed.
Back home in the States, President Donald Trump steps up to the mic. His voice is thunder. The day of reckoning has come. The Houthis and Iran will face the full wrath of America. And he backs it up. Within hours, Trump orders the USS Carl Vinson, another carrier, to join the Truman. Now you've got two massive strike groups in formation, rolling deep in the Red Sea. On Twitter, he throws gas on the fire. We've been crushing the Houthis day after day, but the real pain? It hasn't even started. Tehran, you're next.
And things only get crazier. 6 B-2 Spirit bombers, 30% of the U.S. stealth bomber fleet, are locked and loaded at Diego Garcia, that remote base in the Indian Ocean, just a push of a button away from Tehran. Iran's response? Straight fire. From the capital, Iranian generals snarl, "We'll strike Diego Garcia before the U.S. can react. If they dare to touch us, the Strait of Hormuz will be shut down." Boom! Now we're talking oil panic. The Strait, the lifeline for 40% of the planet's crude, just became a time bomb.
So here's the battlefield. On one side, the Houthis, scrappy, determined, throwing cheap drones and missiles with zero fear. On the other, the United States, stacked with unmatched firepower, stealth jets, warships, and a hunger for payback. In the middle, Iran, pulling strings and throwing threats. And from the edges, Russia watches silently. The EU's sending ships. The whole world's watching with their breath held. This ain't just a skirmish. This is the moment. A battle between the shadowy, asymmetrical spear of the Houthis and the blunt force sword of American military might. Missiles clash with missiles. Drones versus jets. Willpower versus overwhelming power. Who blinks first? Buckle up. Because the fire's already burning and it's going to torch everything in its path. The Red Sea? It's about to live up to its name, and it's just getting started.
January 6th, 2025, sunset over the Red Sea. The crew aboard the USS Harry S. Truman barely has a second to breathe when alarm sirens scream through the corridors. Red lights flash. The Spy 1D radar goes wild. Dozens of blips lighting up the screen, streaking toward the carrier like angry hornets. Confirmed threat! An officer yells, voice shaking with adrenaline. Steel-toed boots pound the decks as sailors sprint to battle stations. The fight is on.
Thanks so much for watching, folks. Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update. Here at X News, we're all about real, balanced reporting. Take care, stay sharp, and we'll see you in the next one. We'll see you in